Of a case control study is to take a look at a population at a given time, and it's either the entire population or a specific sample in a population, and that's a cross-sectional study. A case control study is when you essentially find people who already have a health disparity and work backwards from there. So if you're looking at pesticide rates and cancer, you would find patients who have cancer, find patients who don't have cancer, and then see if the patients with cancer, whether or not it was caused by something specific that can be measured. And the way they each help analyze a public health threat is that a cross-sectional study is important because you want to know the prevalence in a population and you want to see the whole population, not just people who are affected by something in particular. And the reason the case control study is important is because it allows you to find where there's the biggest potential for disparity. So if you're looking for people with cancer, it's useful to round up everyone who has cancer and study them instead of studying a sample of 1,000 and maybe only 5 of those people have cancer, and that's not a very viable sample. Okay, so the next question is discuss the key strengths and weaknesses of each study in understanding the causes and contributors to public health threats. So the strength of a cross-sectional study is that you get the whole population, or at least a sample of the population. In that sense, you can look at prevalence rates and you can see the bigger picture. The weakness of it is that, like I said, if you're studying 1,000 people, only 5 of those might have cancer, and you don't really have a viable study of people with cancer or to determine what causes it. Now, in a case control study, the benefit is that you can collect a large enough sample to accurately measure and accurately do research on these specific people with this specific problem, but the issue is that it's not going to be a random sample, so it might not be representative of the population of a whole. Like if you go to the hospital and only take into account the people in a hospital, you're going to think the whole world is sick. But if you look at the population as a whole, you'll get a better idea of how many people actually are sick. And the way they control for confounders is a little bit different. So the cross-sectional study in a way controls for confounders because you get an accurate picture of what the entire population's like, and from there you can adjust your sample if you want like an age-adjusted rate or gender-adjusted rate. But the way that it controls is by not narrowing out a specific part of the population. As for the case control study, the way it controls for confounders is by the researcher selecting the specific participants he or she wants to be in the study. So if you want to study cancer rates in Latino males, you would find Latino males with cancer. And in that sense, you don't have confounders. It's just gender and age, because you can control for all that yourself. And I think that's it. Thanks.